Thousands of Australians living in the US could find it tougher to extend their stay in America after the Trump administration suddenly issued new visa rules on the weekend. The changes mean Australians on US working visas, including the Australia-specific E3 visa, may have to travel back to Australia every 2 years to attend an interview at a US consulate. Until now, Australians commonly travelled much shorter distances to renew their visas at countries such as the UK or Barbados. Now, the changes already caught out some expats who had travelled to other countries to renew their visa on the weekend, only to have their applications denied due to the new rules, leaving them without a visa to re-enter the US. Well, Sherwin Noorian is a US immigration lawyer based in Melbourne and joins us now. Sherwin, how are these changes being received by Australians working in the US? What has been the reaction?
Hi, Yvonne. Yes, it's been a very sudden change that has come out of nowhere with no grace period. It was effective immediately. And the impact to Australians in the US is that those who need to travel to renew their visas now need to go, as you said, longer distances back to Australia for what is effectively a 2 to 3 minute visa interview where they hand over their passport and ask a few questions and then wait for their visa.
Who do these new rules apply to? Do you think Australians are the intended target of them?
No, they're not the target. They apply to all non-immigrant visa classes, or most visa classes for the US. So certainly not the target, but have been sort of caught in the crossfire and affected by it. I think the target is more likely to, what they're seeking to do is discourage visa holders, foreign workers, et cetera, and slow down the numbers and the flow of these expat workers in the US.
Can you tell us about some of the immediate or short-term impacts? We've heard some Aussies have already been stranded overseas. For example, those who over the weekend had travelled to the UK or to Barbados to renew their visa, only to find out that their applications have been rejected and they can't get back into the US.
Yes, that's correct. So because the policy went in without any grace period, it went into effect immediately. There were Australians who had appointments, visa appointments booked, for example, at the US Embassy in London, or like you said, Barbados. And everyone was really caught off guard. Even the consular staff at the embassy weren't quite sure how to handle these applications. So we're hearing that some people were outright refused. Some people, their applications were suspended. Some are now being told, we're just hearing to send in their passports. So it's very much a mixed bag. We have someone, for example, who was just meant to go to Canada from the US this week and has now decided to play it safe and return to Australia for this visa interview. So it is creating a lot of uncertainty and stress.
And Sherwin, what will the long-term consequences look like for individual workers and also the number of people applying to work in the US?
So I think everything that they're doing is designed to sort of make applying for and receiving a US visa less convenient, which can, and frankly, more expensive. So this can discourage some workers and their employers. If there's uncertainty and additional cost, they will, the idea is that they will avoid sponsoring foreign professionals, for example. So the overall impact may see, combined with potentially a slowing economy, lower visa numbers into the US. For Australians, more cost, more inconvenience, perhaps, for those who are seeking to work or already working in the US.
And of course, we know this new directive is part of a series of measures to tighten rules around visas for the US. Under the Trump administration, we're witnessing changes that are making it harder to live, study and work over there.
Yeah, that's right. So it's part of an overall sort of shift to discourage people. And it has resulted in, for example, lower tourist numbers. Student visas have become more difficult with higher refusal rates, more vetting of social media, for example, for international students, including Australians. Higher refusal rates for really anyone who has had any sort of complexity in their case and needs, for example, a visitor visa. We are seeing those refused at a much higher rate, whereas under the previous administration, there was more consideration of those applications and more approvals. So there is definitely an overall shift underway.
Sherwin Noorian, really good to get your insights. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Yvonne.